They can also build not even washrooms, but even dormitories. You know, even sharing a dormitory with a normal kid and we are intersex kid, it's a bit hard. That is where I've talked about even sex harassment, which many intersex don't feel like talking about. Because, you know, you'd go pick an intersex kid and take him or her to the normal dormitories. Healthcare provision, no, it's not enough, because when you come on the side of even surgeries, those surgeries are very high, and they are not done. They are not done even in our country, Kenya, in many hospitals. It's only in 2 hospitals. That is in Kenyatta and Kijambe. Those are the only 2 hospitals that do surgery for intersex skin. So they are not enough, and this is why, and this is what has made intersex surgery very high, that even an intersex kid cannot afford.
Yeah, the most important thing is to implore the health workers, because I think that's where the bottom line is. Before you discharge any child from hospital, any newborn from hospital, take your time and examine that child from head to toe. And if you're not satisfied that there's something wrong with the child, then you're not satisfied that everything is correct in that child, then seek the help of a doctor or a colleague to check together. And number 2, don't rely on the mother to tell you, this is my child is X, Y, Z, and therefore you take the name and fill up. Please, when you're doing those gender assessment and what have you, take a time and actually physically see the child, because you may be the only one who can help that child at that particular time. And these mothers are very anxious about it. You hide it from everyone else, but if they trust you as a healthcare worker, they came to you in the first place, you should be their first source of help. Assure them that something can be done, and then let the child get properly assessed, and then they can be directed to the appropriate care pathways.
So, like as for me, I was to undergo a surgery which would make me a little lady, and which I'm on the process, but it's changing very high. You find like just for the MRI test, which will determine the person you are to be, they are costing more than 70,000, just the MRI test. And now, when you combine the test, because that is just one test that took 23,000, there is the other one, and they are supposed to be 4. So when you combine the test and the surgery, they total up to 400,000. And this year it came to a point I just stopped, because I am unable to facilitate myself. The NHIF cover, it covers, but it doesn't cover everything, just a small amount. Although not sure, but I was told it will just cover for just a small amount. There is the other misconception that intersex kids don't get kids. That one I'll tell them it's a lie. Intersex person get their own kids when they are treated. Yeah, when they undergo the surgery, the full surgery, if you choose to become a lady, then after the surgery you can be able to get your own kid. If you choose to be a man, after the surgery you can also be called a dad. Treat intersex kid in the right way, because as long as women are giving birth, then an intersex kid will be born. Yeah. So it's not a matter of cases, it's not a matter of prostitution, but as long as women in our country, Kenya, are giving birth, then an intersex kid will be born. And this is what the Kenyan people have not come to realize. And that is why the intersex kid of Kenya lives in hiding places. They cannot come out.
There has been studies about the sexual satisfaction, sexual performance of these patients after the assignment. And remember, this is a person who's starting from a point where they couldn't associate, they couldn't have a relationship. So already they're starting from a very bad experience to a situation where now they can identify this is my gender and I can associate now with a member of the opposite gender, and there has been a lot of satisfaction with gender reassignment surgeries. Remember, the surgeries rest around the issue of the erogenic areas of the genitalia, the area about the phallus and in both the male and the female. So we try to preserve. If it's a female that you're making, we try, and you make it from male, it's just a reduction of the size of the phallus, but you maintain the nerve, the nerves that innervate that area. If it's about the clitoral enlargement and enhancement, you do enhancement around it, but not interfering with the erotic areas. And therefore, in terms of eroticism, it does work. In terms of reproduction, it's a different ball game altogether. It depends on the degree of the intersex problem. If it's just a mere hypospadia, the testes are well formed, you move the urethra to the tip, there's no reason why that patient cannot have a baby. On the other hand, if it's an issue of say the true hermaphrodites where you have the intersex, it's impossible for them to have children. That's a given, because even when you do reassignment, it means you have to remove the parts of the other gender, and these other parts were already not matured enough for work to carry on their functions as they should be. Yeah, but in terms of satisfaction with the outcomes, they are very happy. If you, I'm sure you have heard about the stories in Bangkok for patients who have undergone reassignment surgeries, and they are busy in the clubs and enjoying themselves, and you can't even tell.
After I came out in my social media, a certain lady called me and she told me, you know what, Betty, my sister has given birth to an intersex kid, but she's running mad because she doesn't know where to start. She doesn't know where to even begin and end. If you talk to every intersex kid, I included, we have tried suicide. I even tried killing myself, you know. So, because of what I met on the way. So, the ones that you see that they are living and surviving, they are those that the suicide did not succeed. Those are the kids that are surviving. But the others, they died along the way. They killed themselves because of the stigma. I had also a friend who called me and told me, you know, my sister got a kid, an intersex kid, and the sister killed the child. I don't know. It was not clearly known if she's the one who killed the child or she was not the one, but the child was found dead. So the parent, even the parent, are getting depressed to a point that they are like, how will we live with this kid? I'm basing on our country, Kenya, because in other countries, at least an intersex kid has been given a praise. So I'm basing on, our country, Kenya, because this is where people have not been, the awareness has not been raised to a point they can know whom an intersex kid is. So this is where you find that, even a parent is like, how will I live with this kid? Because the stigma this parent meets.
The issue of transgenders, where you have a male or a female very clearly defined, but they want to transfer to the other gender. Now, that is an area that the law is very blank in our country, because we don't appreciate the issue of transgender. And yet we all are aware about the cases that were in the public limelight the other day. And much as there will be quotation of various jurisdictions and laws, we do not have a local, a domesticated one. And I think there are task forces looking into it. As far as the reassignment surgeries are concerned, and as far as these others are concerned, for example, if you have a boy who has an undecided testes and hypospadia, for example, is the surgery you're going to do actually a gender reassignment? Is not. You are actually making things correct. You want your hole to open where it's supposed to do. So you go and do a hypospadia repair. You have a lady with labial fusion and you do labial separation. Now, that's not a reassignment. And therefore, there is no law that prohibits you from from carrying out that corrective surgeries as such. But the one of gender transposition, that one we don't have laws to that effect. I'm sure there has been a lot of crime. There are two quoted cases, the one of the gentleman in prison, and then there was this child who had been denied a birth certificate on account of being an intersex. And I think and yet within the framework of our constitution, you have a right to registration. As a citizen, you have a right to citizenship, for example. So how can I deny you citizenship on account that I can't say whether you are male or a female? We don't have, we can borrow from other jurisdictions, but I think the task force that has been given the responsibility has not come up with a clear-cut path for that. And we hope that in future they would do. And it's by discussing and raising these awareness questions that people can come up and discuss it openly, so that then, one, we don't have these patients being stigmatized, and those who can get help should get help.
On the side of support system, I usually say there are people who supported me, but there are people who are meant to support me, but they didn't. And like on my family, my aunt really supported me, and my grandfather, they really supported me. And they really helped me to be who I am, and they supported everything that I had. But you find, I don't know, this thing ate my mom in another way. My mom didn't. We have not been in good terms with my mom and my other family members. So even my friends, when I came out, some friends just went away. They said they don't want to be associated with me. So in this, you see, people have been supporting me and others have not been supporting me. And let me say, it hated me that time when somebody like my mom did not support me. I found myself into depression. I just got depressed. And also my friends, I got depressed because I just hoped and I thought that they would support me, but they didn't. So this thing hit me very hard and I got very depressed. The dating experience, I had once dated a man when I was very young. I think I was in class 8. I had a boyfriend. But we just stayed for, I think, 2 months. Then I felt I'm not into him, so I just left him. And since that time, I've been like that. Yeah, I've been living like that. I've never felt like dating again. I'm not ruling out dating. You know, it's on my side. Because, you know, it's earned, by the way, it is earned, particularly in our country, it's earned. Because we don't know on which side to fall. Yeah, we don't know on which side to fall, and the condemnations that are there. You know, I usually tell people that, you know, these things work with hormones. So like, as for me, the way I am now, the male hormone is high. So if I am to date, maybe I date a girl. And now in our country, Kenya, it is not allowed. People will start condemning us, and, you know, saying that we are practicing lesbianism. You know, you'll find another person, you'll find another person, maybe he's more of a man, but the hormone that is high, it's the female hormone. So this person is like, I want being dated by a man. And, you know, people will start walking around and saying that, you know, these people are practicing gayism. So it has been earned. People are not understanding us at all. And this has meant a dating for an intersex person become hard.
The late discoveries are associated mainly, one, with when these patients want to have relationships, when these patients maybe have had they want to be put in institutions, either in schools, in colleges, in church groups, or in jails and the likes. it may come into question when maybe you've been hiding all along. We've been calling you, Joroge, we're asking why you're not marrying. Or you are in Jerry and you are not marrying. Why is it that Jerry is not getting married? So the societal pressures will come very much. And by the time they are getting to that age of 18, it becomes very difficult. I know of a very interesting scenario where a gentleman is intersex, allocated the male gender, brought up as a boy. They get monthly periods because they are girls. And he conjured up, got a wife. They still meet. But they got children, but these children were fathered by the cousins after intoxicating the wife. So that's the extent to which things can go wrong. And now comes a situation where you have, say, a sex of rearing of a female, and yet you have a testis, and the testis gets a cancer. And you go to hospital and you have to tell you by there you have a testicular cancer, and yet you're a female. So it can get quite extreme, and it's important that these issues are not swept under the carpet, but rather they are brought up so that people can seek help.
The surgery that the doctor told and prescribed for me, she had told me that because my male hormone is high, the first thing she'll do is to suppress it. That is, it will just be down, because my everything that I use is of a girl. My body is more of a girl, so the doctor will suppress that male hormone by injecting a female hormone in me, and then from that I'll undergo a procedure of the test. The test will show if I have testes in me. The test will even show again if I have the womb in me, of which I undertook that test, and it showed that I have a womb. So you see, it will be if now the womb is, now the thing is that he'll even inject another hormone. This one will help the womb grow normally, because now my womb does not grow normally as of a normal girl, because they are competing. The hormone that is helping it to grow, there is the other hormone. So the doctor will help by injecting that. By injecting me, and this one will help the womb grow, and then I'll undergo the surgery. Now the surgery is off, or removing the male part, and also trying to help me become a little lady, that is making my female part more of a lady. Doctors are not supposed to be assigned to do surgeries to intersex kids while they are young. Let me pick these two examples, that is of me and of somebody like James. James has been raised as a girl. That is why at that particular time she was called Mary. But by proceeding, the body picked what it is supposed to be, and that is a male. And that is why James came back and changed even the name from Mary to James. Like on my side, yes, I was raised as a girl, but I felt as if I am a man. But just by growing, I came to realize I am a girl. Even though my male hormone is high, but I am a girl in my body, the way my body eats. So they are not supposed to be assigned to do surgeries to intersex kids while they are young. Give them time. They'll definitely know whom they are, and their bodies will definitely tell whom they are.
If you have a deviation from what you know as a normal, then you are potentially an intersex, and you can seek the assessment of a doctor who can guide you and tell you, is this the way it's supposed to be normal? So if you find anything that is unusual in yourself, the best thing is go visit a doctor, discuss with the doctor, let the doctor examine you, and then he'll tell you whether there's something abnormal or not. If you sense it in you, then there might be something. Yes. Sometimes it's nothing major, like labia fusion for females, something so subtle. So subtle. In fact, in the clinic, sometimes they just take an earbud, lubricate it, and just separate the labia, and the child goes home. So it can be something very disturbing for a parent. They are hiding it, but when you go to hospital, you find it was something so small. Yeah.
Currently, I've never met one, because I've told you that these surgeries are very high. So by doing them, they have not even been they have not been happening in Kenya. Before the pandemic came, there was this organization that funded them to go outside the country. So this helped them to go and come back, really made well, because they'll undergo the surgery of high classes outside the country. But after the pandemic came, these organizations just kept quiet. They just kept quiet. They didn't fund us, just kept quiet. The probability of a woman giving birth in an healthy facility is very high. So I bet these kids are being born in hospitals. So doctors have that role to play and to tell, parents that, you are fine, you can move on, and your kid is just a normal kid. So they have a role to play to encourage parents to talk to parents. Hold meetings severally, talk to parents on intersex kids. Invite intersex kids like us with our parents, we shall talk to them. And they don't even, some even, they have misconception that, we don't grow normally as other kids. I'm here, I'll talk to them and tell them I'm here. I'm growing very beautiful, a very beautiful girl. I have no complications with me, everything is just fine. So invite us, call us, we shall talk to you, we shall encourage them. And we shall encourage even those parents. We are out of those ages. So doctors, it's your role to talk to this parent and show them the way. I want to talk to that intersex kid who is out there and tell them that, you are a normal kid. There is no difference between you and any other kid who is out there. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and God loves you. And I also want to talk to that parent who has maybe an intersex kid, who maybe is very young, and I want to talk to them and tell them, love these kids, show them love, show them the way. They are great peoples, and they are people who will become greater peoples tomorrow. So don't help them go to depression. By your love, they will move. So feel loved and know that God loves you so much. I also want to talk to even our teachers who are watching us here, and to also the Kenyan government. Please consider an intersex kid. Help this kid to grow, and help this kid not to pass through stigma. Teachers who are out there, I know you can teach about intersex kid in schools, and I know intersex kid will be picked differently from how even students are picking us today. The government is picking us today. The people out here are picking us today. This foundation will start from you teachers. Because if you could have taught our parents, then we could not be who we are today. Then that intersex kid who is suffering there could not be suffering today. We could be a different country today, yeah.